Hello everyone, it's Laffy Traffy. I want to start this video off by warning any anime onlys that there will be spoilers in this video. If you couldn't already tell by the title, we'll be talking about some recent manga chapters here, so this is your final warning. There will be spoilers. I highly recommend reading the manga, but if that's not your cup of tea, then neither is this video. So, Yamato. Yamato in the last chapter was revealed to be in his hybrid form. There has been a ton of theories of what Yamato's Devil Fruit could have been. A lot of people thought that the white tiger could be a good fit for the aesthetic and, everything else, which, I would have been happy with as well. But we get this interesting creature of what looks like a deer. It looked very much like a mink Sulong form with the hair going everywhere and everything, but he has horns and he has a big tail and just looks very deer-like. And so upon some research throughout the community, we've all come to the conclusion. There's still some other theories, but for all intents and purposes, I believe that it's pretty clear that Yamato is a Kirin. Or Shilin, however you say it, but I'm gonna go with Kirin because that is the Japanese version of this mythological creature, while Shilin is the Chinese version. Now, disclaimer, this could all be for naught if somehow Yamato's Devil Fruit is not a Kirin, but I am pretty confident that it is, as well as many others, so I wanted to dive into the possibilities that this opens up with Yamato being a Kirin. What a Kirin is, what their mythology is, what they look like, and what some powers that Yamato might be able to use by being a Kirin. And also what the Devil Fruit could be called. Also, if you're new to the channel, feel free to check out my reaction and review of this recent chapter. We're on break this week, that's why I'm making this video. But I do reactions on Twitch, so follow me over there, and Twitter for more gaming, anime, and One Piece content. But if you have watched those videos already, or just into talking about Yamato specifically, then here we go. I'm gonna start off by hypothesizing some options for what Yamato's Devil Fruit will be called. As a basis, a Kirin is a chimera-like animal that has, in at least the Japanese specific mythology, the body of a horse, antlers like a deer, scales like a dragon or fish, and the tail of either an ox or a lion. This opens up a lot of options for what this mythological zone could be based in. The Kirin in history is often associated with the giraffe, which I don't blame people for mistaking the giraffe for a powerful mythical creature, because you can't go against the powerful nature of a giraffe. Just look at Kaku.
Giraffes are awesome. I love giraffes.
Zoro barely made it out alive. The pure power of nature. So because the giraffe is widely mistaken or confused with the Kirin, I thought that, hey, maybe it'll be the giraffe fruit model Kirin, which also would have made a really funny situation where Kirin is also giraffe in Japanese, so it just would have been the Kirin no Mi mythological model Kirin. Which I think that's very Oda, and I wish that that could be the case. But unfortunately, we do already have the giraffe fruit, and it is actually an ox model, which was interesting, but an ox is still going along the lines as a Kirin, because a Kirin is described as the body of an ox. So that was something I didn't know or forgot, is that the giraffe fruit is ox. So we have our first option of it being the ox fruit model Kirin. Our second option here is that it could instead be a horse fruit model Kirin. We have the horse fruit for Pierre, and it was just the base horse fruit. There was no other animals involved with the naming scheme there, so it could be base horse fruit, because the body is often associated as a horse-like body or an ox-like body, so either works. And also, Kirins are sometimes associated with unicorns, which are very horse-like. However, Yamato clearly doesn't have one horn here, so that might not be the route that Oda goes with. Another option is that it could be the deer fruit model Kirin. We unfortunately don't have a deer fruit anywhere in One Piece right now, and for all we know, the deer fruit could just be base model horse. It could be the horse fruit model deer, which that would make sense. Taxonomy is weird in One Piece though. So my bet, if we're going out of a normal animal, I think it would probably be the ox fruit, because the body of an ox, it's often described like that. So I think that would be a good fit. The Ushi no Mi model Kirin. But continuing further in the naming schemes, we could have it one of two ways. That would be very interesting for the series and, you know, characters involved. We can either have Yamato's Devil Fruit be a dragon fruit or a fish fruit. While Kaido is a dragon with the fish fruit, we have dinosaur users that do have the ancient zone dragon fruit model their respective dinosaurs. Kirins are described as having dragon-like scales or fish-like scales, so either zone types could work here. My thoughts are that the Kirin is often depicted like a Chinese dragon, which is very similar to how Kaido is depicted. So, going along those lines, it might be interesting that Yamato also has the fish fruit mythological model version Kirin, while his father has the fish fruit mythological model dragon. Which we actually don't know what Kaido's Devil Fruit is officially called, we just know that it's the fish fruit. I assume it's a mythological version. I wouldn't say that Kaido just has the base fish fruit. That would be pretty interesting. But I think for sure we're gonna get a name for Kaido's Devil Fruit soon. Might even be the same time that we get Yamato's Devil Fruit reveal. They stand off and we get little panels underneath their names with fish fruit model Chinese dragon, mythological dragon, and fish fruit model Kirin, mythological model. So that would work really well with their dynamic and everything, but I think that it could take a step further and be even funnier if Yamato actually does have the dragon fruit model Kirin, where Kaido was stuck with the fish fruit. It would just kind of add insult to injury because Yamato wasn't even supposed to eat the fruit, which, leave a comment below if you have any ideas for who Kaido could have wanted to give the fruit. Do you think that maybe it was Yamato's mom's fruit, but Kaido said that he had worked hard to acquire that fruit? Which might only just mean that he had worked hard to acquire it before Yamato's mom ate it, and then he gave it to her on purpose, and so then he had the fruit after she passed away, and then Yamato ate it. That wasn't for you. I worked hard to get that. It's important. For whatever reason, he doesn't want Yamato to eat it, even though Yamato would be a good addition. It's kind of confusing, and I hope we get a little bit of a backstory with that devil fruit, because where did he go to go get it? Whose was it? Who did he intend for it? So let me know in the comments who you think Kaido would give the Kirin fruit to, if anyone. But yeah, I just think it would be funny if we had like the standoff and it was Kaido virgin fish fruit versus Yamato's Chad dragon fruit, and they face off with their mythological zones. It would be kind of fitting that Kaido was stuck with this fruit. I mean, hey, maybe he's proud of it. I won't judge. Kaido, you can be proud of your fish fruit. It's just, you know, when you have the actual dragon fruit in existence, it's a little difficult to, you know, say like, oh yeah, the fish fruit, okay, yeah. Taking all of that into consideration, my personal theory is that Yamato will have the dragon fruit mythological model Kirin. Now, moving on from naming schemes, I wanted to talk about the appearance of a Kirin, both in mythology and what we could expect Yamato to look like. There was one particular description of a Kirin that described them as being gem-like in color and shine of their scales and everything, and making them look even more amazing and beautiful than they already are. So that might allude to Yamato's emerald hair. That might come into play when we finally see Yamato in the anime fully colored, which that I'm excited for, because it's also described as having a lot of fire, so you can see like the fire all over him, and I think maybe it's even green fire if it's an emerald theme. I just feel like the white and emerald color scheme would look really awesome on a Kirin. And like I described before, overall the Kirin is a chimera-like animal, has the body of an ox or a horse, antlers of a deer, tail of an ox or lion, and then scales like a dragon or fish. So that's the chimera crazy mash that we have here. The only thing is that Yamato's tail does not look like an ox or a lion's tail. It looks more like a horse's tail, but I feel like there's leeway with depictions, and it might just be the hybrid form looking kind of weird, but it looks much more like a horse tail. So that's the only difference. Everything else is pretty spot on. Now, moving on to possible powers that Kirins have. It's stated that Kirins are naturally very peaceful and calm creatures, but when threatened, especially by evil, it's said that Kirins can shoot fire from their mouths, which, you know, I feel like we can get some interesting panel art with Yamato going against Kaido. Kaido shoots out his Boro breath, and then Yamato shoots out their Boro breath, and then it just clashes in the middle, and it goes back and forth, you know, like that cliche, like Harry Potter, spells going back and forth. I feel like that, I mean, Kaido would win, but that would be an epic clash, for sure. And following the theme of fire, Kirins are often depicted with having very fiery manes and fire around them, so not only can they shoot fire from their mouths, but I can imagine that Yamato will probably have a lot of fire-based powers. Which is also really cool because Yamato fought against Ace, who, if you didn't know, also had fire powers, so we have a big theme of fire here, as if we needed a new devil fruit that can use fire. But imagine that clash. Maybe now that we know Yamato's devil fruit, maybe we'll get another flashback with Ace, maybe? I don't know. I just think that that would be a really cool visual once again of those fire powers clashing. This is assuming that Yamato had his devil fruit back then, which I'm going to assume he probably did. Some people were saying that maybe Kaido, when he was away and took all of his big commanders, when Ace attacked, that was when he went and got the devil fruit. So there might be the case that Yamato didn't have the devil fruit because it wasn't there yet. But I'd like to think, just for personal headcanon, that Yamato did have the fruit and then they clashed against Ace. And then the last cool bit of information is that Kirins are often described as having a very snake-like movement where the head leads and the body follows, and people used to try to replicate this type of dancing, and it was considered very advanced dancing because the movements were so interesting. So that would also be a really awesome thing to see in the anime, is see maybe that type of movement, really quick movements, and with Kaido slithering around, just be cool. It would just be cool. Kirins were also said to be able to walk on water and on clouds, so again, similar to Kaido, Yamato might be able to create clouds to walk on, similar to the Chinese dragons, so aerial battle incoming. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about with Yamato and the Kirin is the meaning behind a Kirin and the symbology and everything that Kirins stand for in mythology. Prosperity, success, longevity, goodness, justice, purity, wisdom, luck, good omens, protection. You get the point, there's a lot. Most relevant to One Piece's story, though, is that Kirins were either already in very peaceful kingdoms, and that's where they lived, or they would appear, and that would be an omen to an incoming powerful great leader. This clearly points to the upheaval of Kaido and Orochi, and Momo taking his rightful place as shogun and being the great leader that the country needs, that he needs to be, and that Oden could have been. And with that in mind, I think Yamato taking on the persona of Oden, I think that goes a lot deeper in this circumstance. Not that I agree with that, I think Yamato should learn to be his own person, but he was so into Oden and supported him and wanted him to be the leader that he wanted to, so much that he fought against his own father for his entire life and took on the persona as Oden. I think that goes really well with the mythology of a Kirin, where they just want peaceful leaders to be in power. Yamato saw Oden as that great leader, and so all he could do was become that leader that he thought he needed to be in a weird way, but he's also waiting for Momo because he has played a huge part in protecting Momo and leading Momo away, helping him throughout the battle, and giving him Odin's journal. So Yamato has played a huge role in Momo becoming a powerful leader in Wano. Do you not agree? I think Momo's gonna be the shogun. What do you think? You think he's gonna sail on the Straw Hats? I mean, yeah, it could be like that too. Yeah, I know, Shanks and Buggy were on Roger's crew. Man, you're really adamant about this. Hi. Yes, I think Momo would benefit from being on the Straw Hats crew. I just think that maybe he needs to be in Wano for the time being, you know? Get the country back in working order. But, you know, that's just my opinion. You don't have to disagree so vehemently. Anyway, I think Momo is that great leader that Yamato as a Kirin is foreshadowing. Or Hiyori. Hiyori could be the shogun too. That would be pretty cool if Momo does go with Luffy. I'm down with that too. Whatever it is, whoever's going to be the leader of Wano is going to be better than Orochi and Kaido. So, I mean, I feel like the point still stands here. And so the last detail that I wanted to go over is a Kirin's hierarchy as a mythological creature. The Kirin is often ranked as number 3rd most revered mythological creature, third only to the Phoenix and the Dragon, two very widely accepted, revered creatures, very powerful, very awesome in its literal sense, inspiring awe. Or, at some points, the Kirin was number 1, above the Phoenix and Dragon, which is crazy. This ranking fluctuated throughout various Chinese dynasties, which I'm not going to pretend to know anything about, but I'll list them off in case you're interested and if you know anything about it. But the Kirin was its highest rank in Japanese culture, just like it used to be in Chinese culture. The Kirin, though, dropped to its 3rd place in the Qin dynasty, before it was raised to its 1st position once more during the Zhou dynasty. But point is, the Kirin is a highly respected creature in mythology, especially in Japanese cultures, and the fact that Yamato has this fruit means a lot to the series, and to Kaido, who is a dragon, and, Marco. Marco, you better watch out. The Kirin's better than you, which that's saying something, because Marco's Marco. The Dragon and Phoenix are definitely known to be very powerful creatures, so to say that the Kirin tops both of them, that says a lot, and that sounds pretty promising in this upcoming fight with Kaido versus Yamato. We have been waiting for these interactions, and now we're getting them. There's been a lot of back and forth with them talking about Yamato's childhood, all these different things, and now they're clashing officially. Maybe even next chapter, after Black Maria and Robin, we'll get a continued, little peeks at the clash between the two of them and get more dialogue, get more information. Maybe we'll even get the name of the Kirin Devil Fruit in the next chapter. Probably not, but hey, maybe. But that wraps it up for all the mythology on Kirins that I was able to uncover in my intensive Google searching. And so you guys could have more context in what that means for Yamato as a character in the future of Wano, in the present story of Wano, what his powers could be, and everything that we can look forward to, hopefully pretty soon. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, it helps out a lot, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't and you liked anything that I had to say. As I mentioned before, I do weekly chapter reactions and reviews, as well as watch the weekly anime on One Piece. So if you're interested in anything and everything One Piece, make sure you subscribe and follow along as we uncover Yamato's purpose and power and everything in the series. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. So have a great day, follow your dreams, and check me next time. Bye!
I love giraffes.